Hello, Sentient Beans, and welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a really long time since I uploaded, and things have happened, life happened. I apologize, but this channel has just been on my mind, and I know I wanted to continue it, and right now I'm going to give it my best shot at keeping this channel updated, hopefully on a weekly basis. Right now I'm going for bi-weekly, and that is a big step for me. So I will be doing that. I will keep you updated. So today I want to talk to you about the importance of having both compassion and wisdom. So, being compassionate means you, how do I explain compassion? Compassion is, when you think of compassion, you think of Mother Teresa, and you think of in the Buddhist canon, Guan Yin, or the sound hearer of all sounds, Bodhisattva, great compassion and Bodhisattva. Compassion is essentially having empathy for another person, but not just simple worldly empathy that if you say see your friend twist her ankle, you feel bad for her, you sympathize with her. It goes beyond that, where compassion is you not only sympathize, but you also want to take away their pain. So that is compassion. It is completely selfless. And that compassion really is the foundation in Buddhism. In being a Buddhist, you really need compassion. And wisdom is how do I explain wisdom? Wisdom is the quality of being able to cut through all the muck and all the noise and see things for what they truly are. That is compassion. Compassion in Buddhism is represented by the Bodhisattva Manjushri, and the Manjushri is usually represented in the form of a young prince, and being a young prince, he signifies that he has a fresh perspective, and is energetic, and has the passion and drive to cut through ignorance and confusion, the things that hinder wisdom. And so the young prince also holds a sword, and the sword is another symbol for insights and compassion, because it cuts through. So Manjushri Bodhisattva is the Bodhisattva of compassion. He also has a mantra that I sometimes recite, Om Arabhadzanadi, and reciting that that mantra actually gives you a lot of benefit. But more on that later. Link in the description below if you want to learn that mantra. But for now, for those of you who are new to Buddhism, you don't have to worry about that. So, wisdom, obviously, when you think of wisdom, you think of like Ravenclaw, you think of Confucius, you think of Socrates, Aristotle, people who are thinkers, people who are sages, like Jesus Christ, for example, and of course the Buddha. And I can think of more off the top of my head, but Wisdom is the quality of being able to see the truth and being able to even know what to do in a certain situation and use your own judgment. Often wisdom is not just knowledge, it goes beyond knowledge to where you know, whether it's from past experience or just intuition, what to do, how to think in a situation. So compassion and wisdom, they're often viewed as contradictory, paradoxical, because they are essentially two sides of the same coin. But that's a spoiler alert because yes, they are. You actually do need both. But essentially, what confuses people, and sometimes what confuses me, is that you often have these people who, I think I see this more in the Theravada tradition, the small vehicle traditions in Southeast Asia, where there's a lot of emphasis on reading sutra and understanding the sutra and really gaining knowledge of Buddhism, and that is very important. And I shouldn't knock on Theravada tradition. Again, here on this channel, I talk about how all traditions of Buddhism are tied together, just like how all roads lead to Rome. They are just different medicine for people with different conditions. So don't ever say that this one tradition is, more superior than the other. It's never that. It is just, how can you compare penicillin to Vicodin? You can't. They're completely different medicine for people with different conditions. Even outside Buddhism, all religions, they are different kinds and different ways for people to learn how to be a better version of themselves. And anything that helps people become more compassionate and loving is good. So, what was I talking about? You have these people who focuses a lot on wisdom, reading the sutra, understanding what the Buddha said, attending a lot of talks, absorbing a lot of knowledge, whether it's through in person or through books, through audio, through resources and materials they like to absorb and learn. These kind of people, they like to debate about Buddhism and discuss, and often they think of Buddhism as more of a philosophy, sometimes psychology, more so than a way of life. So they like to think about it. They're very intellectual, very smart. They like how complex and deep Buddhism is. They like the metaphysical part. So these people, they're more, sometimes more solitary. They like to spend time alone on their own to study, to learn, to meditate. That is one way that the Buddha talks about, is that some people do like to cultivate wisdom first, and that is completely okay. However, by combining it with compassion, you really speed up the process of you becoming, taking yourself to another level. You also have, on the other side of the spectrum, people who are just all soft and squishy and loving and cry at the drop of a pen. You know these people. They are very sensitive. They call themselves empaths. They empathize with people a lot. They feel hurt easily. So you have these people who are just all emotions or all love. You often find them, I don't know, I wouldn't say often in disarray because I don't want to generalize, but for a lot of the people that I know, they believe in their feelings a lot. And they follow their feelings, and they don't do anything that makes them feel bad or feel discomfort. Their life sometimes is seen as unorthodox and unorganized. They're kind of running amok and have no plans. It seems like from the outside, of course, to each their own. But often these compassion, all squishy, loving, compassionate people, I mean, bless their hearts, are great friends, great listeners. They're the people who are out there helping the poor, but often they can't control their emotions because they are so compassionate and overflowing with love that they can get manipulated. They get hurt even more because they're already so sensitive to being hurt and to what other people are feeling. These people, they don't have wisdom to accompany them, to help them through life. And because of that, they're controlled by what they feel. And without compassion is what's called idiot compassion. And idiot compassion is really a very common thing, especially among people who just know that you should love others, but you don't know how. And so all you know is, okay, I gotta help them no matter what. It doesn't matter if they need it or not, I'm just gonna help them. And then so what happens is you go and you help them, and it's a bull in a china shop situation where you want to help them, you have good intentions, but you end up doing more harm than good. An example of this would be, say your friend is down and he needs a little pick-me-up. And so you say, oh, what's always helped me is going to the bar and go dancing at a club. And so you take him to a bar and you take him to a club, but he really isn't that type of person who likes to dance and who likes to drink. And so without knowing what the person wants and their needs and what their personality is, and you just rush in and help that person because in almost like in a personal way this is what you want to do, but you disregard if this is what others want and if this is the way they want it. So even though you may have good intentions, sorry, that's my cat. So even if you have good Yogi! So even if you have good intentions, you might still make others uncomfortable, and that's just not the way to do it. Regardless of whatever you're doing, others' comfort has to come first. And some people believe in this tough love mentality, but usually for beginners, especially beginner Buddhists, that doesn't really apply, and it's really hard to do until you're kind of higher level, and really not until the point where you know exactly what others are thinking, which is a stage that you can achieve when you practice more compassion and especially more wisdom. And so kind of the conclusion of this is that compassion and wisdom go together. And this always brings me to think about one of the movies I've watched from Disney not long ago. This is where this giant robot, I forgot his name. You can probably remind me of his name in the comments below. He was created by the main character's brother, and he was made to be caring and to be like a nurse-like figure and a caretaker or guardian to the main character, Hiro. He was all squishy at first, and you see him getting little cuts and holes in his material, and then immediately he starts deflating like a balloon. He has to be taped up. And so when you're all compassion and just all soft all over, when you don't have anything to guard yourself with, you're like that big white robot thingy, a snowman looking thing that walks around and is easily hurt. And although you can help and love a lot of people, you can't protect yourself, and you can't help people in the most efficient way if you keep getting hurt. After the robot gets that insert from the bad chip, whatever that makes him evil, and not himself, like his previous self is completely erased. He has, a suit of armor. He's very powerful. He can destroy enemies and even kill people. And so that's kind of the power with wisdom, is that it is very sharp, it is very powerful, and it is efficient. That's why people are attracted to wisdom, to knowledge, is that you become very impressive, you become an authority figure, you have power when you have knowledge. And so wisdom and knowledge, they are very powerful tools that you can use to go through life and be really efficient at communication, negotiation, debate, money, relationship, and you can be wise about all of that. In the movie, the robot, he was too strong. He was all metal and edges. There's not an ounce of the caring, compassionate robot that Hiro's brother made for him. And that becomes very scary. Nobody wants to be around him. And so in the end, when he has both his caregiver side as well as the kind of the machine fighting side to him, he becomes well-rounded and all-powerful, and he's able to accomplish so much more and help out Big Hero 16. So that's how wisdom and compassion come together, is that they're two sides of the same coin. They are two wings of the same bird. You can't have one without the other and still function well and efficiently. While talking about this, you may be thinking to yourself, I'm more like a wisdom leaning kind of person. I really like knowledge, I like to think, but on the compassionate side, I really need to work on caring more about others, giving more of my time away, and empathizing with how they feel. Or you may say, I am more like a compassion leaning person, where I am soft and squishy, and I really am too emotional, and I want to help people, but often it becomes a mess because I don't know what I'm doing. So you're probably much better than what I'm describing. My point is, then that you need to work on a little more of the knowledge side, of the know-how. Reading some self-help books, if you're Buddhist, reading sutras, that really let you gain more knowledge so that you can help people in the best way and the right way, and in a way that protects you and it helps others. So that's what I want to share today. I hope I didn't drone on. I really wanted to talk about this wisdom versus compassion thing for a while now, because often people think it's either logic or emotion. You can't have both, and it's just not true, because as humans, that's one of our features, is that we have both. Unlike animals, we also have logic and emotions, and we can use logic to control emotions, and vice versa. By embracing both and by understanding both completely, you will truly understand all sides of yourself and use them to your advantage. Are you more of a wisdom leaning person or a compassion leaning person? Let me know in the comments below. Well, I will see you guys in about a week or two with another topic. Let me know what I should talk about next, also in the comment below. Bye!